Alright guys, welcome back, and I'm sure you've already noticed some of the changes. The first one probably being the new emblem, or possibly the intro. Either one, and if you're viewing this on my channel, I'm sure you've noticed the new channel background. I'm doing a few new changes here on my channel just to kind of spice things up. And for today's video, it is this Minecart Station, the one I built on my survival world. I'll be giving a detailed tutorial on how to build this thing, including the Minecart Dispenser, and the Minecart retrieval system. So, alright guys, well, let's get started on that. Okay, so let's build a Minecart Station, shall we? Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to notice is that this is the floor. These birch blocks represent the floor, and you're just going to want to pretty much replicate everything you see on screen. So what you're going to want to do is these four columns are representing the different destinations that you will be able to select, and these buttons are on the second block. Now you can have as many destinations as you like. In mine, you saw, I think I had 10 destinations plus a reset. So in this one, there's only 3 destinations and a reset button. So as you can see, they're 4 blocks tall, and each have a redstone torch on top of them. And you can put signs on this third block, and they are each going to have a button, either wood or stone. Okay. Now I'm just building. Make sure you have plenty of room for this, because it's pretty big, but you can still keep it organized and compact. So keep in mind this birch platform. Now, in the back of these 4 pillars, what you're going to want to do is and I'm using wool. You can use any block that can carry a redstone signal. So just put a block on the bottom of each pillar, and this is in the back. So obviously you'll come up to the buttons in the front and push them like that. So when you come to the back, just put your 4 blocks on the floor, and then you're going to want another block of wool up on the third block like that. So you should have a space in between them and a space on top. Alright, now for the second step, we're going to add a little bit of redstone to the mix. So pretty much the front is going to stay the same pretty much throughout this whole design. So we're going to focus mainly on the back here. Okay, so let's focus on the reset column for now. So what you're going to want to do, like I said, this is your reset column, the very leftmost. That's important for later steps if you want to have a minecart retrieval system and for the rest of the design in general. Okay, so for the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a torch on the pillar above the block of wool that you placed in the last step. And then you're going to want to put a torch on the top piece of wool, and then a piece of redstone on top of that wool. So it should look something a little like that. Alright, now that's for your reset button. Let's go to the other 3, the destination buttons. So the first thing I'm going to want you to do is take another piece of wool and extend the tops of those out 3. Or out another block, the 3rd level high. And touching the pillars, you're going to want to put a piece of redstone. And then on the blocks that you just placed, you're going to want to place torches just like that. So you'll notice that all the torches are going to go out. Now this one goes out because of the torch below it and the redstone on top like that. So all your torches should be out on the front. Okay, now on top of these lower pieces of wool that you place, just go ahead and put a piece of redstone dust. And then on them, go ahead and on the sides, go ahead and put a redstone torch. So they'll be facing out like that. For these repeaters, you're just going to want to be facing this way, kind of backed up against the torch, and you're just going to want to put it the next block away, and you'll know it's working when they light up. So for each destination, you should have a repeater that goes out like that. Alright, on to step number 3. Okay, now we're going to take this column by column. I know it looks a little daunting, but you can stick with me, alright? Okay, so what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to, now we're still focusing on the reset column here. You're going to want to count 2 blocks away, so you should have 2 open spaces, and then you're going to want to place a block. And this goes the same for all 3 of these. So you're just going to want to have these kind of diamond, not diamond, but diagonal blocks. So you're going to have a block 2 spaces away, and above the second space, you're going to put another block. Now, only for the reset button are you going to want to place a repeater. You're going to want it facing out, so the signal from the torch goes out like that. You're also, for the reset column, you're also going to want to put a block 1 block away from this block right here. This is important in later steps when the tracks are involved and things like that. Alright, so now your reset button should be done for this step. For the 3 destinations, you're just going to want to put a block at the end of your repeater. So right where your repeater runs into, you're going to want to put a block. And on top of that block, you're going to want to put a piece of redstone dust. And above the repeater, you're just going to want to place a block. Just like that. Alright, so it should look something like so. Pretty simple, pretty easy to follow along. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you ever get confused, or feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or need advice on fixing something, in case something's gone wrong, a miss, anything like that. Okay, so this is step number 4, and again, starting off on the reset button. So in that space that you left open behind that block, or on the block that's furthest away from all the others, you're going to want to put a torch on it, just like this. And then you're going to want to put a block above this torch, and then another torch on the side of the block. So they should line up just like so. Okay. Also, on this step, you are going to want to place a torch facing the reset repeater that is above the first destination's bottom repeater. So it's just place 2 torches just like that, and one will be facing the reset button repeater that's kind of suspended in air like that. So just place one there, and you're going to want to place torches, each 2 on each, just like that. So torches facing that repeater on each block, and then also torches facing the columns, just like that. All right. Step number 5. Now this step involves just adding the these are jukeboxes, or not jukeboxes, note blocks. Sorry. They are note blocks, and they will go off whenever you see. I don't know if you heard that beep, but each time I hit this button, they will go off. And unfortunately, because I don't have a reset button or a reset mechanism initiated in this just yet, I'm just gonna need to hit that. Okay. So we'll build in a reset feature in a later step. So all you're going to want to do is place a note block above this torch on the reset column, and you'll notice it's off. So you'll know you're placing it above the right torch if this one's off, and the repeater should be going right into the note block. Go ahead and place a repeater right next to the or a note block right next to this repeater. So you'd should have 2 just like that. And then, so pretty much what you're doing is just placing note blocks on top of the torches that are in the middle like that. And then this note block is for the reset feature. Okay. So now that you have your note blocks placed, just like so. We can move on to the next step. Alright, so step number 6, you'll notice a new color wool just to kind of keep things more organized, so you can differentiate from a few different things, and so things get a little less confusing. At least that's the idea. Okay, so these green wool will be going, let's focus on this bottom layer of green wool. As you can see, they just go in between these two redstone on each side and also up against that. You'll find out that they're a little bit awkward to place. You're just going to have to, place a block beneath them and then place that on top. So that's an easy way to do that. And then you're going to want to place green blocks or any sort of block on top of the redstone dust. So you have some next to it and then you have some on top of it. Now, these repeaters, as you can see, from this torch, now this is the reset mechanism. So when you hit the reset button, it shoots a signal through, it powers on this, or it turns this torch off, which turns this torch on, which sends a signal through this repeater and through these repeaters which you are about to place. So you want the signal going this direction, so you're going to want to place the repeaters down like that. Now these repeaters need to be on 4 ticks delay. Otherwise, when you're going on your minecart and your cart hits the reset button, if they go too quick, your track will get reset before you get to it. Say your track's at the very end, or your destination, and your track that gets to it's at the very end of the Minecart Station. And if the signal gets there before you, then you won't end up at the right destination. You'll just loop back in the station, and you don't want that. So yeah, just make sure that all these repeaters are going in the same direction that way, and that they are on the very last delay, just like that. I can demonstrate the reset feature. So say you choose this destination, destination number 2. Alright, so as you can see, this torch is lit up, so you know that that your destination is selected. And when you hit this reset button, it sends a signal and it clears the selection, so it resets it just like that. Alright, well that's pretty much it for the basic wiring of the redstone itself. Now what we need to do is start laying down the track. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to notice this white block has the detector rail on it. This is the same white block as it has been in the past few steps. So not to confuse you or anything, but this is actually to help and aid in where to put the tracks. So on top of this white wool, you're going to want a detector rail. Okay, and on these other so then off this detector rail you can just have 2 other track just going off like that. We're eventually going to curve around this way, but you can just leave those 2 track there like that for now. So right after the detector rail, you're going to want to place a powered rail. Now you're going to want, these are the directions that these little things going off like this are where your destinations will head off to. Now you're going to want the track to be curved like so. Like you're going to want it to look like this, and we're going to invert it in the next step. So so that they'll actually turn the other way. And so when if say you don't want to go to the first destination every time, which is kind of the point, so you won't go that way, because right now the first destination is the one that will be headed off to every time. So an easy way to do this is, say you don't have any of this, and what you're going to want to do is powered rail, and you're going to want to establish this first. Establish this as a corner first. So after every corner, just put a powered rail. So you don't want to start from here, is all I'm pretty much saying. You just want to make sure that you get these nice curves. So just after every curved is a powered rail, just like that. And so I mean it's pretty easy to set up. Just make sure you don't start from there, otherwise the tracks get kind of wonky and they kind of go directions you don't want them to go. Alright, so now it's time to invert the signal coming from these this redstone right here, which is actually the signal that will change the tracks. Okay, so on to step number 7, I believe. Okay, so you're going to want to dig yourself out a little channel here, and you'll notice the white wool with the redstone dust on top of it. You're going to want to dig down, and in the block space right underneath the redstone, you are going to want to have another redstone dust right underneath it, and one more layer down you're going to want to continue that chain of redstone. So you'll get kind of these redstone ribbon looking things coming underneath these. Alright. Now from this very edge, from this closest redstone dust, you're going to want to clear a channel underneath your tracks. You're going to want to clear the blocks out. And because these powered rail need to be on all the time, you're going to want to place torches for those, but you'll notice, so pretty much you're just going to want a whole line of torches, and you'll notice the torches that are unpowered have inverted the tracks, so now they're curved the other way. So when your minecart comes in from this side, you don't actually go that direction, you'll actually just keep going straight. Your cart will kind of do this weird kind of like jitter thing when you're going across these, but you'll actually just end up over here. Or you'll pass destination 1, destination 2, and say destination 3 is powered. This track will flip and you'll head off to destination 3. But yeah, so here's another good look at what it looks like underneath here. So yeah, you don't mind, you know, you just have all the torches right next to each other just like that. And the reason why there's a torch, not a torch underneath this block is because when you have a minecart on a detector rail, the detector rail powers, can power powered track in front of it. So when you go across, it just gets powered like that. And see, there's the example of what the cart looks like when it's going across like that. It kind of does a weird jitter motion. But we'll end up, you know, back where you want it to be in case you didn't select a destination or something. Alright guys, well that is pretty much it for the track and the button selection. Now it's just time for the minecart retrieval system and the minecart automatic hopper and things like that. So stay tuned and I'll get into how to do that as well. Alright, well I hope you felt that the first part of the video was helpful and that you know how to kind of create your own minecart station. These are just some pretty simple add-ons that you can add to this same station design without compromising you know, the same functionality and things. It just kind of makes everything a lot better. But alright, let's jump into things. Okay, so the first little gizmo that I'm going to show you how to build is the Minecart Dispenser. Now this is a super simple design and it works pretty efficiently. You know, it never really goes wrong. It's always pretty consistent. Okay, so to just kind of get your bearings, this is just kind of the same layout. You know, yours may go down a lot further, but this is built right next to the reset button, and it's only 2 blocks away. And what it is the main concept is a stack of minecarts is right here, and a piston, once you hit this button that says minecart, will push this minecart and it'll land on these tracks down here, and while you get in the cart, while it's down here, you hit this button, turns on these powered rail, and you're off. and there's just that same design. So some tips on how to build this is you want at least 2 blocks down for the minecart to land. See, when it gets pushed off, it will fall actually 3 blocks, which is exactly what you want. So when you get in it, you'll be down here, and then you'll just hit the button like that, and you'll come around. And I'll also show you how to build this thing, which is the minecart retrieval system, which just refills the hopper. Alright, so I'm just going to get rid of that block for now. Okay, so kind of in line with the buttons, that's where I just, you know, went, whoopsies. I just started digging down. I just mined out 1 block and then a 2-block channel, and then just filled that with powered rail. And you know, that's obviously just 1 wide, and so then I put a face on that for the signs and things like that and buttons. Okay, and now to wire this piston, it's pretty dang simple. I just have a repeater coming out the back of this block that the button is connected to, and it is just wired up to this piston that is facing that way to push the minecart onto the track. So you can get a good look at that. There's the wiring for the piston. Now, just a few things. For the leave station button, you want it close enough that you want it close enough to the cart that you can reach it when you're sitting in the cart. And you also want it close enough to the track that it actually powers it when you hit it. So like if it was like where the sign is right now, when you hit it, there would be no power sent to the track. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much it for the hopper. I mean, you know, obviously it's just you can make your tube, you know, any sort of block. Just a little hint or little advice. This block, you see how the minecart kind of sticks in this front block and this back block. Just kind of be careful with those. Depending on the block type, your carts may get stuck and actually may like fly through. It's kind of weird, but if you use glass, you'll be good for sure. And on the back one, you know, you can really use any block because the cart doesn't really interfere. But I just use glass on all of it just to give you guys a better view. So yeah, I mean that's the basics for this. You know, hit the button, piston pushes, and oh, this block is very important. This block will hold, because if you don't have this block here and you hit the buttons, the piston will actually push 2 carts, and you do not want that happening. So just make sure you're kind of pinching this top cart, so when you hit the button, it stays still and it drops nice and smooth just like that. And now to fill this thing, well, actually I'll jump into that in a second, but I'm just gonna refill it just like this. At the top of this spiral tower, which I'll get into detail later, you're just gonna want to have powered rail going off just at the top there. But okay, so once you have your minecart dispenser, you're gonna want a system that returns you consistently. Alright, so if you go back to the previous design, or the previous steps, you'll notice it looks something a little like this. Now you'll see we didn't quite get to this part, which is what this part of the video is for. Now a key to this is this kind of the similar thing to the minecart dispenser. When the cart comes off of this track, you're going to want it dropping 2 blocks. This is so in this particular situation, when the cart hits, it hits angled like that, and so if it was like 1 block lower or anything, this would be harder to hide, and it wouldn't give you as much of an angle, so when you got off on the pressure plates and turn the track on, the cart wouldn't always go. So what I do is I just kind of add a few more blocks here and some powered rail, and torches are just underneath just like that to power these. Nothing special, same with this guy. So on the return, and this is actually just like 2 blocks away, you know, for these I just kind of filled in the backs, so it's filled in like that. I just put these wooden columns here. This doesn't interfere with any redstone or anything, so feel free to do that. Or you can just fill in the full thing just like that. Either one works. Okay, so once you, and this is actually, you know how the other one where you started digging down was done right as these buttons lined up? The last track will actually be, you know, one in front of these. And you don't want powered rail up here, because then the cart will actually be going too fast, and your player might actually get injured when he hits this block, or land too high up on these powered rail. So that you can solve that easily just by having 2 normal rail up here. So once you have the drop, just have 2 open spaces, fill those with powered rail, and then you can have 2 more blocks, one with another powered rail on top, and then you can just go to normal rail for the downhill. But this is another really, really important block. Make sure you have a block on top of this powered rail. This is what catches you. Here, I'll demonstrate. So I'm going, powered up. Okay. This is what catches players from accidentally going into the minecart retrieval system, because you don't want people to end up over there. So that's what this block does. And of course, you can cover this whole design. This is again just for easy viewing purposes, but you can, you know, cover in everything just like that. So feel free to add any customizations that you guys want. You know, obviously a lot bigger, you know, different color scheme, anything like that. It's pretty much free to your creativity. But this design is actually pretty key. This angled pressure plate design. So yeah, these 2 open spaces that you have, just make sure you have pressure plates just right in front of them. So when the player gets off their cart, you know, at any angle pretty much, they'll always hit the pressure plates when they get off, so their cart will always get sucked up. And this is just a 1 block high tunnel for the carts to come in, and this is going up and up and up back to the minecart retrieval system. Oh. And again, powered rail up here at the top to just kind of power the carts in. That's a key thing. And make sure you have blocks up here to block any carts from like flying over onto your track or anything. But make sure on the spiral going up that you pretty much have powered rail going up each block. Otherwise, you'll run into some issues. And you can pretty much place torches anywhere. Like, see, like this torch placed right here. Or, sorry. This torch placed right here powers both these rail. And this torch powers these 2. And things like that. This torch powers these 2 as well. But, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. That's how to build the pretty advanced minecart station. It's getting dark. I'm going to have to go to bed here. But no, I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, and leave any comments for suggestions on things I could have done differently or things you're still confused about. But anything like that, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed my video back, and you'll actually see something different at the end of this video. It will be link to my previous video and also a link to a random tutorial that I've made previously. So if you guys want to check any of those out, check out the annotations at the end of the video. And alright guys, well, I'll see you later.